Hello Taurus, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We will be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate for everyone, and they won't resonate for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation if there is anything, and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed, especially if you're a cross-watcher. Just know that that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Taurus. We're going to start with looking at the overall energy for each side of this connection with oracle cards, and then we'll dive into tarot a little bit later into the reading. So let's start here with looking at your side of this connection, Taurus, for the person you are dealing with. Taurus's side of this connection. When the cards hit the table, return all the way around. That didn't feel as intentional. You have breakups and makeups here. I feel like you and this person have a tendency to kind of like have a falling out, but then come back together. I mean, obviously with breakups and makeups. And then you have this wild card energy. I feel like as of right now, this connection is very up in the air. And I feel like that, that's really a really uncomfortable place to be with any connection, especially if it's someone that we really love and care about. This breakups and makeups card does represent some sort of a cycle. So something is going on below the surface that I feel like is showing up in this connection. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to mean that you and this person are like fully breaking up, fully separating, and then, having some sort of reconciliation. It could literally just mean like there's these arguments and then this distance is created and then things kind of come back together, just like a lack of things being really smooth. And that feeling of things being up in the air in a connection is really, really difficult to deal with. There's a lot of insecurity that exists there, a lot of fear. A lot of things can start to creep up that are really hard to deal with. So I feel like in this connection, things have been pretty unpredictable. And I think that has started to affect you in a lot of ways. But let's see what this person has going on. So what is the energy of the person you are dealing with, Taurus? This person's energy toward Taurus. I knew I was going to see this card for some reason. I don't know why. You have the soulmate recognition card. I feel like this person recognizes that there is a deep connection between the two of you. You have dead end here and then quality time. This is the card that like peaked out at the beginning but didn't fully turn all the way around. So I feel like this soulmate recognition card is interesting because I feel like it does go both ways. And I feel like that is why so much of this connection has been like probably a lot more complicated than energy shows, is because there is that deep connection that kind of goes past the surface. And I feel like that is ultimately what kind of draws you guys back to each other. Now, with this dead end card here, I feel like there are certain things that are occurring in this person's energy that are keeping you guys from making it past a certain point in this connection. So things might deepen or the connection might start to run smoothly, but then something happens that feels like the connection can't move past a certain point. I don't know what that is yet, and I feel like we will start to dive deeper into what's really going on with tarot. But I feel like when it comes to how this person feels about you or how they see this connection, I do feel like they see it as an important connection in their life and something that that really matters to them. But it just feels like there's something that keeps them from being able to either express that or like commit to it in a healthy way. Now, the quality time card, I feel like it's like, the more time you guys spend together, the more that then problems start to arise. And when there's separation, when there's distance, it's like, I really miss this person, like I really want them in my life, but then you spend time together, and maybe in the beginning it's great, but then as time kind of goes on, something starts to happen. I don't know if there's conflict that starts to arise or friction that starts to come to the surface or what it is, but I feel like it always is like, things are good in the beginning, you spend some time together, smooth, kind of things go smooth, and then something always, it's like there's always something that seems to kind of come up and throw this connection into like conflict or separation. So I feel like understanding the deeper levels of this dynamic can be really helpful for you here, because this cycle isn't going to be fun for anyone. Definitely not for everyone, but not for anyone really, because I feel like like I said, it creates a lot of room for insecurity and self-doubt and fear to start to arise, and anxiety. Anxiety can be really heightened in those moments where you just feel like everything's really up in the air. All right, truth of this connection between Taurus and this person. Communication is the problem. One of the main problems here. Doesn't mean that there's a lack of communication, but I do feel that communication's a two-way street, and it takes vulnerability and the ability to kind of set aside defensiveness and to look at oneself honestly and truthfully, but then also being able to express your feelings to the other person, hoping that they do the same, right? That they drop their guard and, that they're not defensive. It's something that it does take a lot of practice, and it does take a lot of work. And I feel like in this connection, there's a lack of communication. It doesn't mean that there is a lack of that you guys don't talk, but maybe you don't communicate. Maybe you find it really difficult to express your feelings to this person. Maybe they have a tendency to get really triggered really easily, or to turn things around on you, or it always creates a fight or something. And I feel like the root of that, whatever that might be, is kind of what needs to be addressed. And we, like I said, we're going to unpack these things as we pull cards. But growth here, any connection is here to really push us to grow. And the goal is to find people who want to grow with you, right? Because relationships are going to force you to face things within yourself that you might not face in other situations. And the friction starts to be created in connections when you're dealing with either both parties not being willing to grow, or one party being willing to grow and the other not. True, healthy, sustainable connections come from both people kind of going into it with the mindset of like, I'm here to grow, I'm here to evolve, not just for you, but for myself, and being able to address things from kind of that mindset and perspective. And I feel like in this connection, there's this something that's blocking this appropriate communication that creates like immediate friction or conflict or something that then sends this connection into some sort of separation or like period of things being up in the air. So a lot to unpack for sure. But I do also feel like one of the things that I talk a lot about in these love readings is needing to understand that any two people in this world, can make it work, as long as both people are willing to do the work to make it work, right? Both working on themselves separately and then also working on the connection. So, really in this reading, the goal is to address what's within your control so that you can make sure that you are making the right moves and decisions that align with your highest good. Overall theme of this reading for Taurus. What does Taurus need to know about this connection? It is for the higher good. Then you have sacrifices must be made. And that is true. Healthy connections do require sacrifices, but it requires sacrifices on both parties' side. And I feel like a lot of times, especially if you feel like you're an empath, or if you just in general tend to bear the weight of your relationships more so than the people you're in a connection with, you might feel like it's up to you to make it work. And though you do play a role and you have your part, you have to make sure first and foremost that you're dealing with a partner or a person, because this might not be romantic, that is equally willing to grow, that is equally willing to look at themselves and do the hard stuff. And I feel like with this, it is for the higher good. I do definitely feel like this connection is happening to help lead you to your highest good in love, whether it is with this person or not. At the end of the day, it's a win-win, right? Because you get to experience the love that you're truly deserving of. So let's dive a little bit deeper here, Taurus, with your side of this connection. Wild card with breakups and makeups. Taurus's feelings toward the person they are dealing with. Taurus's energy toward the person they are dealing with. I feel, Taurus, like you really switch between like anger, and I'm just kind of getting this from the energy, from like anger to sadness. It's like being so angry at the situation, not the person, that it's almost easier in those moments to cope. But then like eventually things kind of come up and you're like, man, but I care about them. I love them. And that's when it gets hard. But then eventually the anger kind of comes back, and it's like this flip-flop in how you really feel here, which makes plenty of sense. I feel like that's going to happen when you're dealing with complicated situations like this. Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay. What else does Taurus need to know about their side of this connection? Two of Wands in reverse. Oh my goodness. And then the World upright. What else? Yeah, Taurus, there's so much overthinking on your part when it comes to this connection. I feel like you're so in your head here. Could be dealing with a fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. You definitely don't have to be, but you could be. You have the Four of Cups, and then you have the Ten of Swords. And then I feel like this is your energy. Whether you're male or female with the Queen of Pentacles here, it doesn't really matter. We all have feminine and masculine energies within us, and they can present in different ways in different situations. But anyway, I do feel like there is... let's just the obvious. There is a desire to make things work here. And I feel like so much of your energy for so long went into doing whatever you needed to do to make it work. That's what this Knight of Swords in reverse energy really entails. It's kind of an energy of like chasing a situation, which can often look like changing yourself or changing your needs or changing your boundaries to fit the situation, instead of standing firm in who you are and your needs and your boundaries, hoping that the situation aligns. And this is really common in relationships. So I'm not saying that, you should be ashamed or that you did something just horribly wrong. We have a tendency sometimes to lose ourselves in connections, especially when we really, like I said, really love and care about someone and really want something to work. And I feel like the cycle here is you're doing all that you can to make this work, right? With this Knight of Swords in reverse energy. And I feel like when it comes down to it and things end up in the air, it starts to really impact how you feel about yourself and what you think you can have in love, because there's this part of you that goes, well, if I've given this everything I have, like I've done everything that I can, I've communicated, I've and hopefully this is the case. I've communicated, I've, tried to reason, I've been honest, I've been vulnerable, and it's like, but I cannot seem to make this work. And I feel like that really puts you in this energy of the Ten of Swords. Now, there could have been a betrayal here. There could have been a betrayal. There could have been an abandonment of some sort, which is some sort of form of betrayal. But I feel like what this is really talking about, in addition to that, is self-abandonment or self-betrayal in some way. It feels like there was this energy of kind of putting yourself on the back burner, your needs, your desires, your dreams, your goals even, for the sake of this connection. Again, we sometimes do that, right? We sometimes put ourselves on the back burner in order to make somebody else happy. And then it really hurts whenever that doesn't end up working out the way that we expected. So I feel like with this Four of Cups too, because your focus is so much on this person, or has been for so long, that there's a need to kind of take a step back and figure out, maybe for the first time in a while, Taurus, like what it is you really want and need. And not just in terms of this connection, but outside of that too. Like, what are you really looking for when it comes to love and to relationships? And, what is it that you feel you've been lacking for a really long time from this person? And when you can start to get clear on that, it becomes a little bit easier to set boundaries in association with what you need. Because when you're feeling, stressed about a connection, or insecure about a connection, or, anxious about where things are going to go in a connection, you're forgetting in those moments that whatever happens is going to happen for your highest good. If the connection works out, that's for your highest good. If it doesn't work out, that's for your highest good. And all that means is you're going to be led to something more, right? But it's hard sometimes to see things through the lens of that perspective. And when we zoom in so much on what can I do to make this connection work, we miss out on what the real question, which is, what can I do in this situation that is best for me, that can protect my value, protect my worth, protect my mental health? Because you've made a lot of sacrifices here, Taurus. That's very obvious. You've made a lot of sacrifices in this connection. And to be quite honest with you, it kind of feels like if this connection were to work, it's time for this person to kind of step up and start to make some sacrifices and start to do some things differently. And I think it's important for you to know that this doesn't all fall on you. Like, yes, do your part, do the work on yourself, show up in the best way that you can, but that's all that's in your control. From there, it just kind of depends on how the other person responds. And if they respond in a way that is, that is not good for you, then that's kind of an answer within itself, right? That's the universe's way of saying, like, maybe this isn't right for you right now, or maybe this isn't the right path. But I feel like you're needing right now, Taurus, to take a step back from the connection itself and focus on you, and make sure that and maybe you are doing this, and this is just confirmation, but really making sure that you are, protecting yourself and nurturing yourself right now, because this cycle that you're in, I feel like, has had a significant toll on you. And I feel like that's evident with this Ten of Swords energy. And I just feel anxiety in this energy. I feel your anxiety, and I feel the stress when it comes to this connection. And I feel like kind of allowing yourself to step outside of that and make sure that you're good is really important right now. But okay, this person's energy toward Taurus, soulmate recognition with dead end. What does Taurus need to know about this person's energy toward them? I feel like because the connection is really deep here, it makes it even more complicated to navigate. Because I also feel like there's like, well, if this is anyone else, it would be easier for me to kind of walk away or set boundaries or be honest or whatever. But since it's this person and we have this deep connection and I have this desire to make this work, I feel like you're having a little bit of a harder time navigating the right move here. This person's energy toward Taurus. But it does feel like this connection is happening for your highest good in some way. And I feel like what that ultimately might mean is it's teaching you to love yourself in a way that you maybe never really have. Or like, again, to put your needs and your dreams and your goals or your desires first, and understand that has to happen, right? If you're not putting your desires first, if you're not putting your needs first, then like, who's gonna be? Oh my goodness, that's so much reverse energy. Okay, what else do I need to know? This person, okay, there's the Page of Pentacles. See, I don't like this energy. Okay, yeah. It's like when they're in it, they recognize, or when they're in it, they take it for granted. When they're out of it and there's separation, it's like they miss it and they value it. And I feel like that is a lot of what kind of draws you guys back and forth, is it's like when they're in it, it feels like they really take you for granted, and there's a lot. So let me read the cards. Sorry. Four of Swords in reverse, Page of Cups in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse, which I was like, wow, that's a lot of reverse energy. But then Page of Pentacles, High Priestess, Nine of Pentacles. So I feel like when they're in it, they really take you for granted, and it's almost like they shut down a little bit, like they're closed off, or they start pushing you away, or they start, being a little bit snappy, or like cruel, or even careless with your energy or with your feelings. But then I feel like whenever you start to kind of pull back and create distance here, then it feels like this person is like, wait, no, I missed that energy. So then they flip a switch and they turn into whatever they need to be to kind of draw you back in. And then again, things start to go. And I said this at the beginning, it's like then things start to run smoothly for a little bit, and then it starts all over. They pull back, or they do something to withdraw. They start taking you for granted again, And I feel like that is where so much of this is confusing for you, because it's like, when, you're like, well, then how do you feel? Do you value me? Do you not value me? Do you want to be with me? Do you not want to be with me? And it's not necessarily that, I feel like, I don't feel like there's a clear-cut answer for that. It's not that they don't value you. It's not that they don't see the value, because they have this soulmate recognition card. That's why that quality time showed up. But it's like the more time you spend together, the more this person's energy changes. So then there's some sort of separation, and then it's like all of a sudden they're freaking Prince Charming, or, whoever you wanted them to be, and you're like, what the hell? And I think that has created so much confusion for you. And I think that in addition to that, it's created a lot of overanalyzing this person's actions and behaviors, and maybe even your actions and behaviors, and starting to figure out, okay, well, when I do these things, then this person pulls away, so I'm not going to do these things, but I'm going to make sure I do these things, because when I did these things, then this person responded well. And it's like you're trying to cater your behavior, the way that you're showing up in this connection, to how you think this person's going to respond, and that isn't fair to you. You should be in a connection where you feel safe to be yourself, where you feel safe to express your needs without fear of retaliation or fear of separation. And I think that it's easier said than done, right? And it's not that this person isn't capable of getting there. The Page of Cups in reverse really represents emotional unavailability for me, or like a lack of emotional depth. And I feel like and that's maybe why they have a tendency to really take it for granted as time goes on, is because it's like, well, they can't access those deeper emotions. But then when there's the separation, it's like they're like aware that they're missing something in their life. And I think that that's not fair to you. You deserve someone who values you and chooses you in all stages of your life and in all phases of the relationship. And I think that, and it's not saying that this person can't. It just feels like there is really a need to make sure, and maybe that's where this communication card is coming in, which we're going to jump deeper into what's really going on there in the extended. But I feel like in this situation in particular, it's like, with this person in particular, it's like, there's this need to address their own behavior in this, and ultimately how it's affecting you. And I feel like there's this lack of self or like emotional awareness. Because with this High Priestess and the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like you align with their highest good. Like this connection is like, and what you have to get, but are they capable of opening up and showing up in a way to be able to appropriately receive that? I feel like that's the question. And I think that that's where so much of this, and I said this at the beginning, it's like you can only focus on what you can control, right? And that's why I feel like so much of your energy was talking about making sure you're protecting yourself, because it's obvious that this person's got some stuff to figure out here. And so it's not just straight up, like I don't feel like they're trying to mess with you. I don't feel like they're intentionally playing with your feelings. I don't feel like they're being vindictive, like nothing like that. It just feels like emotionally it feels like emotional immaturity. And it feels like that emotional immaturity is directly impacting their behavior in this connection. And that's not okay. It's not a justification. Like, again, we can understand and have empathy for why somebody acts the way that they do without tolerating that behavior. In between this connection, you have communication and growth. I'm going to hop on over to the extended, and we're going to dive deeper into what's going on and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. But first, before I end this video, I do want to reiterate that I am holding a workshop on Friday, January 3rd at 6 p.m. Central Time. It's a live workshop over Zoom. And the title of the workshop is Reclaiming Your Power to Manifest the Life That You Desire. So really diving into stepping into your power so that you can create the life that you do truly deserve. And there will be just meditations and things that we're going to do live. If you can't make it live to the event, that's absolutely okay. If you purchase a ticket to it, you will receive a recording of it the next day. So everyone who purchases a ticket will receive a recording the next day. The only thing you will miss out on if you opt for the recording over the live event is the last 20 to 30 minutes will be a Q&A session, and just kind of, connecting with the audience in a way. And that obviously you won't be a part of that if you just opt for receiving the recording. Any information on that is in the description box below underneath the links to the extended. I have a link to the video of me announcing this workshop. In that description box is all of the information that you need on the workshop. And then if you have any questions on it, feel free to shoot me a comment or an email. My email address is always in the description box of any of my readings. So thank you so much, as always, Taurus, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Taurus.